Honda director issued a statement that made Ducati boss tremble. In an interview, the media asked, "Is it possible for Marquez to return to Honda in the near future?" The Japanese boss's answer actually made everyone curious. "Marquez's reunion is easy, we'll just have to wait and see." Honda Racing Corporation Director, Yuzuru Ishikawa, spoke out about the possibility of Marc Marquez returning to the Golden Wings squad in MotoGP. Marquez has managed to find his identity as a winner and is currently leading the world title competition with a convincing margin. On the other hand, Honda is also trying to rise by improving, including looking for new perspectives by recruiting European technicians. Honda's performance is slowly improving even though ups and downs still occur. The manufacturer from Osaka has again become the place that racers dream of. Honda's reunion with Marquez after succeeding together, suffering together, and rising together on different paths will be a great story. However, Yuzuru Ishikawa refrained from making any comments about the possibility of the alien returning to Honda. Regarding the selection of riders, currently we are not really considering who will join, said Yuzuru Ishikawa, quoted from Crash.net. Of course, Marc is one of the fastest riders, he is really fast. Even so, whether we will welcome him back or not, it is not a big problem for us. We will see later, said the Honda boss with a sweet smile. If Marc Marquez manages to win the world title this year and next year, it could be that in 2027 Marquez and Honda will be back together. What do you think, guys? On the other hand, Marco Melandri said that Marc Marquez is an absolute phenomenon. Look at the replay of Marc Marquez's braking, his rear wheel is always on the ground, maybe he moves sideways and spins, but he stays on the ground. Then look at the replay of Pecco Bagnaia's braking, you can see the front moving and the rear almost always lifting, said Marco Melandri, who was amazed by the magic of Marc Marquez. In short, both ride in very different ways, and it is clear, in this MotoGP where nothing makes a difference, that one of the two is missing. And we know who it is. Melandri began by analyzing his teammate. However, he denied the idea that Ducati was making a motorbike for Marc Marquez. No, that's not what I mean. However, I said something that I have been saying since 2013, after seeing him on the track for the first time with a MotoGP bike. Marc Marquez is not just a champion, but an absolute phenomenon, one that can be counted on the fingers of one hand if you look at the history of motorcycles. He was the strongest for several seasons, even without having the best bike in his hands, because it was not yesterday that Honda was no longer the best bike. Then what happened to him, and we all wondered if and how he would come back. Now he's shown us, just as he showed us what he has and how hungry he is. He doesn't ride a Ducati because that's his market, said Marco Melandri, who was amazed by Marc Marquez's performance. Aprilia Racing CEO Massimo Rivola does not believe the statement of Honda HRC Castrol team manager Alberto Puig, who admitted that he was reluctant to pursue Jorge Martin if the Spanish rider was still bound by a valid contract with Aprilia. Rivola actually suspects that Puig and Honda are doing the opposite. Hearing the Martin vs Aprilia feud getting hotter, Puig again stated on the MotoGP live broadcast that his party was reluctant to recruit Martin if his status at Aprilia was unclear. However, Puig also gave an indication to motorsport.com that Honda would believe Martin's words more than Aprilia's. We don't want to get involved in a situation where a rider still has a contract with another manufacturer. However, if he says he's free, then he's free. Honda talks to riders, not manufacturers. If we feel we have to talk to Martin, we'll talk to him according to what he tells us, Honda boss Alberto Puig told the media. Puig's statement left Rivera shaking his head. The Italian is convinced that Honda has spoken to Martin and is pushing him to make a decision soon. "I'm just wondering about the situation with Alberto Puig. Honda said they won't make an offer to a rider who isn't free. However, I don't understand why they put so much pressure on Martin if the rider isn't free. Because I know for sure that he's got an offer. If they don't make an offer, then next year he won't be playing for anyone. There's a cold atmosphere between all parties at the moment," Massimo Rivera continued angrily. "If the rider gets an offer from Honda and wants to accept it in any way, we have two options. Either we give in and reach an agreement, or we go to court. We have everything we need to protect our factory," concluded the Aprilia boss, warning Martin and Honda. The Italian manager gave his initial assessment of the race to the microphones of DAZN España, where he gave praise to the rider number 93. "I am very happy. Marc has done a champion's race, as it is. And a big round of applause also for Bezzecchi, who was very fast. And we are very happy to see Pecco on the podium again," said David Tardizzi, praising the winners at the Dutch MotoGP last week. "I think Marc has found a special confidence with his bike, and you can expect him to fight for victory at every circuit," said David Tardizzi with a smile. In addition to the maturity given by the suffering of the last few years, he has the talent and the mind to manage every race. "I am sure that now he is more ready to win at all circuits. Of course, everyone always has weaknesses. But the professionalism that Marc Marquez showed in working with the engineers is the most important," said David Tardizzi, who was amazed by Marc Marquez's performance.